fire, Judge Hatch. And if I know that girl right now speak on it, say amen. My wife was speaking, she be running up, and you talking to a bulldog. She be speaking on it. Y'all gonna fix this here. You think you're dealing with that leopard that escaped the other day. Say amen. And they walk in there and find out she that tall. Amen. She be tough. She be putting it down. Trying to protect my $7. Yeah. Is God all right? Yeah. The woman that spent all of her money, Sister Amanda, but she was still getting worse. Because of the continual bleeding, and I'm not trying to be too graphic, the woman would have been continually regarded in Jewish law as a nidah, N-I-D-D-A-H, or a ministrating woman. And thus ceremonially she would be considered unclean. In order to be regarded as clean, the flow of blood would have had to stop for at least 7 days. Because of the constant bleeding, this woman lived in a continual state of uncleanness, which would have brought upon her social and religious isolation. It would have prevented her from getting married. Or if she was already married, when the bleeding started, it would prevented her from being intimate with her husband. Say amen. Amen. And get this, it might have been cited as a reason for him to divorce her. Amen. Thus the text reports that while this woman was at her absolute worst, she heard about Jesus. That's right. And allow me to insert here, that's normally the way it happens when you're down as far as you can go. Right. Then he'll show up. How many of you know that Jesus will show up? Show up during the fourth watch of the night. Amen. Amen. Jesus will show up and show out when the fever has reached its peak. Amen. Say amen. Jesus will show up and show out when all of your earthly advantages have been exhausted. Amen. Jesus will show up and show out when you're down, the song says, in despair, anytime, anywhere, talking over with Jesus. Yeah. So when this woman was at her absolute worst, she heard about Jesus. In fact, Jesus was on his way to a man named Jairus' house to heal the man's sick daughter when he encountered this woman with the issue of blood. A large crowd of people had descended upon Jesus as he went his way. The woman suddenly came behind the crowd and meandered her way into the presence of the Lord. Again, I must insert. Sometimes you have to do extraordinary things in order to position yourself to get what you need. Woo! Little pastor, you need to stop preaching and go home. You can't just go on with life as you've come to know it and expect to be able to walk in the promises of God. Amen. That's the problem with people. We watch in absolute horror as our lives become literally unlivable. But we cannot find the wherewithal to do what we know is necessary to change our reality. Clap your hands. Man. Listen, only a fool would think that a different result is a consequence of continually doing the same thing. That's a foolish thought. If you think that you can keep on living the same way and God's going to turn around and thrust a life of abundance upon you, no. Jesus said in Matthew 11, verses 28, 29, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you'll find rest unto your souls." If you feel today that your very life is hanging by a string, make absolutely and unequivocally sure that the string onto which you're hanging is part of the garment of Jesus. Clap your hands today.
Amen.
Talk about hanging on a string. Point number one, issues don't clear themselves up. Take action. That woman could have stayed at home. She'd spent all her money. She's isolated. She's by herself. She could just stayed at home and threw up her hands in disgust and said, "Well, this is how I'm going out." Say amen. The doctor couldn't cure it, Sister Cassandra. The doctor couldn't. They couldn't